end of the day, what do I think about Remax and Real, right? That's what we've ended up to. So like many people, I woke up this morning and I had a text message from my brother and it said, check your email. And I'm like, what? And I open it up. I'm like, oh, here we go. Let's rock and roll. Today's a Monday, where I saw the announcement that Real had bought Remax. So let me step back to, before this announcement and like what was on my mind. Have I seen all the social commentary and people certainly in the industry talking about the fact that maybe this was the year that Remax was going to get bought? Absolutely. Has this industry had and continues to have a lot of scrutiny, lawsuits, right? Settlements, all of those things. And has that had a toll on, the brokerages and certainly the financial positions of a lot of brokerages? Yes, absolutely. And is there an opportunity for us to help, shield against that for the future? Should we be thinking about that? Yeah, absolutely. Of course we should. And so, with the merger, of course, with Compass and Anywhere, did I think that we were going to see more people get bigger? Sure. Did I expect this morning that Real was going to be the ones to buy Remax? No, I did not. I did not. That was not on my bingo card for this year. So my first thoughts this morning, I was like, what is going on? And I may have said some other words in that process. And then I kind of had to regroup and go, okay, well, no, wait a minute. Let's kind of think about this. And certainly as the day went on and I knew I had the need to communicate to my agents, where have I ended up at the end of the day today? So I've been a Remax broker for 30 years and we have always loved the red, white, and blue and being part of it. And knowing that we're in a great mid-states region or a region in the middle of the country that's owned by Dennis Curtin. And we are a proud a franchisee of that franchise. And so have I thought, again, like, do you need to be thinking about reinventing yourself, doing new things? Of course you do. Absolutely. And so one of the places that all the companies are struggling with is really trying to figure out the AI space and the tech space. And Real has done a good job with doing that. And I've watched them, I've seen them, and I'm anxious to know more about what they're going to do and in that space. And so through the investor call this morning with the CEO of Real, and then through the broker webinar that I had today with the Remax leadership, the message that I got from them was that Remax was going to continue to operate as a brand, Real was going to continue to operate as a brand. And so at the same time as that, I'm going to continue to operate as an independent, independently owned branch of that. And so as I told my agents, I'm like, I'm wrapping my arms around you. We're all in this together and we're going to look forward and certainly make the best decisions. And I think there's a lot that could be benefited from this partnership. And every site I go to, I'm seeing, all sorts of different things and different conversations. And of course, immediately the phone calls started coming to me, my agents, everyone, like, what does this mean? And what does this look like? And, do you want to stay with the Remax brand? The one thing that I've always appreciated about the Remax brand, and kudos to our founder, is that it is about understanding that you as an agent are your own brand. And we enhance that and we try to focus in on that, especially at Remax Spin Realty in Jefferson City here in the mid-Missouri area. So does it, I think this Real has that same philosophy. And so those two philosophies combining along with more tech, more information, more in the AI space, that's a win-win for everybody. So we're excited to see kind of where this all goes. Obviously it isn't complete yet. I'm excited to see how this evolves, and I will continue to kind of communicate as needed. As far as our buyers and sellers, this is just a bonus where we can hopefully always continue to bring more, advance more, and this is now another new opportunity to do that. So I'm sure all of my friends watching this or anyone watching this has comments. Feel free to comment. I'd love to know what you're thinking. At the same time, you know what? In mid-Missouri, we're gonna do what's best for our marketplace. We're gonna do what's best for our agents. We're gonna continue to sell homes. We're excited about that. As I told somebody on the phone, I'm a 6th-generation realtor and I do not have an exit plan. I love this industry. I love being a broker. I love being surrounded by thoughtful agents. And one of the best highlights of my day was being on a Zoom today with agents asking good, smart questions, wanting to know about their business. And that is what I love most about this business. I've got phone calls and text messages that I need to reply and fire back to. But I also know that there is, a real estate community who is rethinking what the future looks like. And you know what? That is a good thing for all of us to consider and join in together in the thought of how we can advance this industry to best service the consumer, because I absolutely believe in my heart of hearts, and I'll say this up until, I can't anymore, and that is, in your largest financial transaction of your life, you are much better served as a consumer with a professional realtor by your side. And I'll say that again, as in the largest financial transaction that most of you do, you are much better served with a licensed, right? With a licensed professional, and not only a licensed real estate professional, but a realtor who subscribes to a code of ethics above and beyond the license law by your side in that transaction. There are so many pieces of it that are complicated, and I am proud to work with an entire group of people who are focused in on that. And today they prove that once again by asking not only what does this mean for them, but most importantly, what does this mean for the consumer? And so we look forward to having more and more of those conversations.